Tzu Chi care recipients in Taiwan speak out on the love and care they received from the volunteers. And in the United States, we meet Zhang Chaohong, who is the driving force behind promoting Jing Si Aphorisms in Southern California's hotels. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. In Yilan, Taiwan, a fire broke out in a lumber mill on the afternoon of April 6th. The fire not only burned down the factory, but also damaged nearby households. The day following the incident, local Tzu Chi volunteers quickly set up a temporary service booth to make sure the survivors had hot meals to enjoy. Furthermore, the volunteers also handed out consolation cash to help fire survivors stay strong through this difficult time.
On April 6, a fire broke out in the lumber mill on Zi'an Road in Yilan, Taiwan, affecting a total of 18 families, including Ms. Huang's. Thinking back to the incident, Huang still feels anxious.
The roof was covered in flames when I got home.
Due to the blaze, Mr. Chen's home is left covered in black soot.
I only managed to save a statue and an ancestral tablet. The flames were already too high for me to save anything else. I really don't know what to do.
Soon after, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived at the scene of the accident to tend to residents' needs and even accompany some back home to check on the damage. Besides providing emotional support, the volunteers also set up a temporary service booth offering hot meals.
We have set up a service booth to better tend to the fire survivors' needs. We will distribute consolation cash and hot meals here. The fire victims will be able to find us here if they need anything.
Tzu Chi volunteers respectfully hand over consolation cash after checking each fire survivor's identification.
I am the sole breadwinner of my family. My mother doesn't work because she suffers from disability. Tzu Chi's consolation cash is a great help for us.
Tzu Chi volunteers hope their presence can help put residents' minds at ease and give them the courage to stand on their feet once again.
According to statistics, more than 6,000 families in Taiwan receive help from the Tzu Chi Foundation every year. However, due to the recent controversy regarding Tzu Chi, many people stopped donating to the organization, which affects the amount of funding that goes towards helping these needy families. Next, we take a look at how money donated to Tzu Chi is put to good use by learning the story of two Tzu Chi care recipients. Back then, I had to go to the hospital for chemotherapy every day. I didn't have the means to pay for transportation, which was about $330. I asked the Tzu Chi sisters if they could help me.
After being diagnosed with cancer, Ms. Gao started to visit the hospital on a regular basis. However, without the means to pay for her medical bills, Gao often felt hopeless. Thankfully, the blue and white-clad angels walked into her life.
I donate money to my bamboo coin bank and pray to the Buddha to give me strength. I hope my health can improve day by day, so eventually I will have the ability to help the less fortunate.
Every dollar donated by Ms. Gao is embedded with her blessings and well wishes.
Although I am a Tzu Chi care recipient, I am also a Tzu Chi member. As long as I have the heart to give, I can help the less fortunate. I believe the money will be put to good use.
Please don't stop contributing your love, okay? You can donate money to trustworthy organizations. There are many people in Taiwan in need of our love and compassion.
Walking up a narrow stairwell, volunteers arrived at the home of Tzu Chi care recipient Mr. Lin. Following a stroke, Lin lost the ability to work and now relies on government subsidies. As most of his subsidy is put towards rent, Lin doesn't have much money left for other things.
I want to work, but no one wants to hire me because I suffered from a stroke.
In fact, there are many people who are in similar situations as Lin and relied on Tzu Chi's financial assistance. Due to the recent controversy surrounding Tzu Chi, however, many people stopped donating to the organization. Upon learning of the situation, care recipient Mr. Lin was extremely worried.
The reports about Tzu Chi broadcasted by other stations are full of false information. Tzu Chi volunteers take good care of me.
Our care recipients rely solely on Tzu Chi's financial aid, so they don't know what to do if the organization doesn't have enough funding. A lot of them came to me to express their concern. Most of them are living on the fringes of society, so they don't know how to speak up on behalf of Tzu Chi.
Despite the setbacks they have recently encountered, Tzu Chi volunteers have discovered that care recipients are starting to contribute their love.
I will definitely repay Tzu Chi's kindness. Why? When I was in need of assistance, the volunteers reached out with a helping hand.
In New Zealand, Tzu Chi's plan regular visits to the Bucklands Beach home rest to shower seniors with love. Not long ago, they returned to spend some time with the residents, bringing many games to not only move the seniors' bodies, but also their minds.
A nursing home resident brings out her family pictures to share with the visitors. In the past 10 years, Tzu Chi's in New Zealand have visited the seniors of this home each month, bringing much joy to them. Having fun spending time with one another, both seniors and youngsters sing well-known oldies. Part of the activities include coloring with markers, and the stream of laughter from both sides continues throughout the visit. Each month, New Zealand Tzu Chis visit the residents of Bucklands Beach Rest Home, bringing their infectious young energy to warm the residents' hearts for the days ahead.
To sustain the planet's resources, Tzu Chi volunteers not only practice recycling, but also promote conservation messages to the less informed. Recently, volunteers ventured into schools, corporations, and communities to teach environmental conservation. From Hong Kong to China and even Malaysia, Tzu Chi volunteers shoulder the responsibility of educating those around them with the correct methods of sorting recyclables. Let's take a look at how they help the planet in their respective countries.
This is the first time residents of Yongping, Kangkar Baru in Malaysia are learning about recycling.
Please separate the paper from the plastic at home, then bring them here for us. We can then sell the recyclables to help the poor.
Wanting to teach his fellow residents, who are mostly farmers, about recycling, the village chief of Yongping, Kangkar Baru invited Tzu Chi volunteers to come promote environmental conservation.
You can put your grocery items in here instead of a plastic bag. That's helping the environment.
We hope to promote the practice of recycling and reuse in our town. We want our residents to learn that we can all do our part to keep the planet and our surroundings clean.
Residents responded enthusiastically to the recycling practices, giving the town's only volunteer hope that more recycling events will be held here in the future.
One person's strength is not enough because this planet needs everyone to pitch in to clean. I'm very thankful to Tzu Chi for setting up a recycling point at Kangkar Baru. Now, everyone will know that they can bring their recyclables here.
United under a common goal, residents of Yongping, Kangkar Baru stand together in doing something more meaningful for Mother Earth.
1 is clothing and 3 is electronic items. Can you remember that?
After memorizing the recycling mnemonic, the students get some hands-on practice. This is part of the recycling lesson that Tzu Chi volunteers from Fujian brought to the students of Zhangpu Experimental Primary School.
Starting today, we can do little things to be a protector of the planet.
Volunteers also visited corporations to promote recycling practices.
To tell the truth, sometimes taking a breath of fresh air or drinking a cup of clean water is something we take for granted. We need to take on the responsibility of sustaining the availability of these resources.
Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, volunteers are promoting eco-friendly products within their community.
Let's give the earth a chance to breathe. If we use more reusable cups, chopsticks, and bowls, that will reduce much of our disposable trash.
Volunteers continue to promote environmental protection by thinking up different ways to help the public understand the importance of reducing our burden on Mother Earth.
In Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteer Liu Qiupao passed away in the early morning hours of April 7th. Liu became a certified Tzu Chi volunteer in 1991 and received the Dharma name Tzu Ming, as she had signed to become a silent mentor at the Tzu Chi University in Hualien. Some 20 Dharma masters from the Jing Si abode joined her family and Dharma relatives to pay Tzu Ming a final thanks and goodbye when her body was brought to the university.
Liu Qiupao became a certified Tzu Chi volunteer in 1991 with the Dharma name Tzu Ming. Her dedication inspired many people to join Tzu Chi, including Wang Shufeng, who has become an honorary board member twice over.
I am grateful for Sister Qiupao, who always told me to seize every moment to do good deeds.
In December 2008, Sister Tzu Ming was diagnosed with a stomach abnormality. For the past 6 years, it was Tzu Chi that helped her remain steadfast on the Bodhisattva path.
For the past 6 years, Qiupao constantly repeated to herself the words of Master Zheng Yan. These words were a source of spiritual support while she was fighting her illness.
Unfortunately, Sister Tzu Ming passed away on the morning of April 7. Accompanied by her family members and her Tzu Chi Dharma family, Sister Tzu Ming returned to Hualien as a silent mentor.
Everyone is here for you. There are some 20 Dharma masters chanting the sutra for you. You must concentrate on reciting and following the Buddha's name.
It was her wish to become a silent mentor. She hoped the donation of her body could help medical students develop their skills and become doctors with true virtue.
Amid the chanting, family members fulfilled Tzu Ming's wish to become a silent mentor and contribute to the medical field.
As we reported yesterday, Taiwan's reservoirs face severe sedimentation, reducing their water capacity by as much as 66%. To remove the sedimentation manually is basically impossible due to the sheer volume. Thus, the Water Resources Planning Institute has come up with the idea of sediment discharge channels. Here's more.
Facing the worst drought in 68 years, Taiwan's reservoirs and water reserve are facing an unprecedented crisis. Take the Shimen Reservoir to the north, for example. 1/3 of its content is actually mud.
The Shimen Reservoir was completed in 1964. Its capacity is 309 million cubic meters. Over the years, some 100 million cubic meters of sediment has washed into the reservoir, reducing its capacity to 201 million cubic meters.
Landslides upstream caused by severe weather patterns due to climate change are to blame for the severe sedimentation in the country's reservoirs. On August 25, 2004, Typhoon Eri hits Taiwan.
The worst was in August of 2004 when Typhoon Eri brought 27.8 million cubic meters of debris right into the Shimen Reservoir.
The debris brought by Eri was the equivalent of 10 years of sedimentation. For a reservoir to survive, it must be able to discharge more sediment than it receives. The government decided to help the Shimen Reservoir by using excavators and dump trucks to remove the excess sediment. But the most that can be removed in a year is 2 million tons, while some 3 million tons of sediment is being added every year. The problem is shared by all the old reservoirs in the country, and a cure is urgently needed. The Water Resources Planning Institute under the Water Resources Agency made a miniature model of the Shimen Reservoir to run different simulations, including what happened during Typhoon Eri.
怎么去减缓这个水库的
To deal with the problem of sedimentation, we came up with sediment discharge channels to expel water high in debris concentration.
As the mud washed into the reservoir is heavier than water, it will sink and flow at the bottom, a condition called gravity current. By taking advantage of such a phenomenon, discharge channels can be installed at Amuping and Dawanping to help remove the sediment.
We will place the channels in the middle to draw the muddy water at the bottom. Currently, such a design is not seen even abroad. Through our model, we can study the effectiveness of these steel pipes that will function like an elephant's trunk.
In the model, the muddy water is successfully suctioned and expelled while the surface remains clear.
If we have another Typhoon Eri, the channel at Dawanping can help discharge some 10 million cubic meters of sediment, which would take a dredging boat 30 years and $161 million to complete.
水库早期
The reservoirs of the old days did not take into account sedimentation control when they were designed. So now we're conducting similar studies for the Zhengwen and Nanhua reservoirs as well.
But for the Shimen Reservoir, as the discharge channels won't be completed for another 10 years, just how much will they really benefit the reservoir?
未来每年有
In the future, the channels can help expel all the sediment that comes into the reservoir every year. This is not a permanent solution. This may slow down sedimentation and extend the life of the reservoir, but it's not the real solution. With our current technology, we just can't solve the problem of sedimentation plaguing Taiwan's reservoirs.
It is true that such a plan is not tackling the problem of water shortage and sedimentation at the source. Only by conserving water and prohibit development near any of the reservoirs can there truly be a solution.
Tzu Chi volunteer Zhang Chaohong in Southern California of the United States wastes no time when it comes to Tzu Chi's missions. Besides work and caring for his family, he helps to spread Jing Si Aphorisms to hotels. In 4 years, he and other volunteers have delivered the volumes to more than 130 hotels.
Tzu Chi volunteer Zhang Chaohong works in the information technology sector and has 2 children. When not at home or at work, he uses his free time to help with Tzu Chi's missions.
Time is tight today. We are preparing some Jing Si Aphorisms volumes to donate. I also have to take my children to school.
While waiting for other volunteers to arrive, Zhang Chaohong puts the Tzu Chi office contact information into the books. Volunteers hope these Jing Si Aphorisms can find a new home in the area's hotels.
He is a role model for us to learn from. Once you dedicate yourself, you will know how to coordinate an event and spread goodness.
I respect Kevin a lot. Sometimes I ask Kevin, aren't you busy enough? He said if no one else is doing it, I must take up the responsibilities.
After donating Jing Si Aphorisms volumes to hotels, Zhang Chaohong moves on to handling his work and picking up children from school. Talking about his busy life, Zhang Chaohong said that he enjoys volunteering while caring for his family.
My children can be considered as Tzu Chi babies. In a way, they led us to volunteer with Tzu Chi. So my wife is happy to see me carry out Tzu Chi's work.
Starting from January of this year, the Tzu Chi School in Jakarta's Tengkarven has opened its doors to those who wish to join the Wisdom at Dawn broadcast, hosted by Master Zhen Yan. Though a Muslim, Tzu Chi volunteer Wayu Shri has also been joining the study session.
Early morning at the Tzu Chi school in Jakarta's Tengkarang, while Yusri is ready to join the Wisdom at Dawn broadcast with her fellow volunteers.
Ingin belajar melatih diri aja. Master tuh nggak ngajarinya kan bukan hanya
I want to cultivate myself, for the Dharma passed on by Master Cheng Yen does not simply address the compassion between people, but extend to all sentient beings in the environment. Such teaching is universal and crosses all divides.
membeda-bedakan agama, lintas agama, ras, suku, bangsa.
Though a Muslim partaking in Tzu Chi study session does not bother Sri in any way. In fact, it was because she joined Tzu Chi several years ago that she was able to finally cope with her husband's passing.
Mendingan kita manfaatin karena mungkin di balik
We must seize whatever time we have. God works in a mysterious way to which we simply cannot anticipate. Perhaps my husband's passing is for me to have more time to contribute to the greater good of society.
lebih baik lagi untuk sesama gitu aja.
Living life with a grateful heart, Sri has indeed become wiser and wealthier in spirit.
In Taiwan, a community volunteer training seminar was held at the Tzu Chi Jilo retreat. After participating in the training seminar, many people left inspired and vowed to devote themselves more fully into Tzu Chi's various missions.
In Keelung, Taiwan, Chen Shixiang is participating in Tzu Chi's volunteer training seminar with his two mothers' blessings. His gray training uniform was worn when his mother's cadaver was donated for simulation surgery, while his jacket came from his mother-in-law.
I'm willing to take on my small role in a greater machine. By walking the Tzu Chi path, I can cultivate myself, serve Tzu Chi, and give back to society.
Here at the seminar, volunteers shared how Tzu Chi reached out and comforted those affected by the 2010 Formosa Freeway landslide incident.
Some of my colleagues at school have been questioning Tzu Chi due to the recent controversy. Since I am not exactly a part of Tzu Chi yet, I was unable to answer them. I hope I can learn more after this seminar.
After a hard day at work, volunteers still visited their care recipients on their scooters enduring the elements. I have witnessed their work personally, and I'm truly moved by them.
Choosing to believe what they have seen, participants decided to take action. Before 6 in the morning, volunteers already started to prepare breakfast in the kitchen for the participants, so the participants can attend the seminar without being hungry.
In Indonesia, Tzu Chi volunteers and the local Red Cross chapter partnered to hold a blood drive to celebrate the 69th anniversary of the establishment of the Indonesian military, hosted by the National Family Association of Indonesia. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.